Welcome to Scam of the Year, the highest achievement in business and politics. The apogee, the zenith, the sine qua non of awards for brilliance and excellence. "2024 was a year of prolific scams, maybe even unrivaled scams, a year when everything became a scam because, as Donald Trump and Peter Dutton showed, truth in politics no longer matters one bit." Now let's dive right in. The three top contenders are the unrivaled NAC, the National Anti-Corruption Commission, the brand new NAC, which managed to find no corruption but was involved in its own corruption scandal over conflicts of interest in not investigating the scam, which was robo-debt. And then we have Peter Dutton's nuclear, a scam designed to make fossil fuels run for longer. It was a stunning event that the Libs and the Nationals had absolutely zero policies and were taunted for having zero policies. But suddenly, in the greatest hold-by-beer moment of 2024, Peter Dutton sallied forth with the greatest, most momentous policy of the past 30 years. Sadly, it's not really a policy, it's just a scam. And then the majestic, the resplendent AUKUS, a scam originated by none other than ScoMo himself. A scam by ScoMo, the Americans and the Brits. Verily heroic as the Greeks with their Trojan horse, defeating Troy. A scam where Australia ceded its very sovereignty to the US and made us pay for it, and made us bury their nuclear waste as well. And they set us on the road for America's war with China to protect the US dollar hegemony. You know, there were many other scams worthy of note in 2024. The great gas cartel scam, the antisemitism scam, Labor government's guillotine scam, where we woke up a month ago to find 32 new bills had been shoved through Parliament in a day. 32 new bits of legislation which nobody had read or debated. Now, not to downplay these scams, but they were pipped at the post. I mean, how could you not award? This is a decade-long scam. How could you not award this gong to the big oil giants from overseas who, with their cosy cartel mates here down under, have managed for yet another year to rob every man, woman and child in the country, as the gas price determines the electricity price, and the cartel has kept gas prices higher. Simple as that. Export price parity. Now, we've been tracking this scam for more than a decade, and well, we have to hand it to them. They whine all year long about gas shortages and managed to get the two national daily newspapers, the Israelian, Rupert Murdoch's The Israelian, and the AFFR, the Australian Fossil Fuel Review, to wail incessantly about gas shortages when we are literally the biggest LNG exporter in the world. And then they drill this stuff at great risk to the planet. They notch up record profits, pay almost no tax, even suck public handouts out of the government for carbon capture and storage and so forth. That's a scam. CCS. It doesn't work, but we pay for it anyway. What a scam that is. And half the time, the punters in Japan, yes, Japan, far, far away land, can buy Australian gas cheaper than Australians can buy our own gas in Australia. And that's after piping the stuff to Gladstone, turning it into liquid, shipping it 7,000 kilometres, turning it back into gas, and retailing it. Such a scam that we are even building import terminals to import our own gas back into Australia. Now, how do they do it, Chevron, Exxon, Shell and the gas bros? Well, they pay their dues. They pay their political donations and their lobbyists run amok. And there's bang for that buck, those political donations. I mean, just look at Qatar, which exports a similar amount of gas. There was $26 billion in income annually for His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of Qatar. 26 billion, and just 800 million for us, exporting an equivalent amount of gas. Let's not even talk about the Norway Sovereign Wealth Fund. $2 trillion parked in that one for the benefit of the Norwegian people, because that's what governments are supposed to do, to look after their citizens, rather than the shareholders of companies on Wall Street. We admit to being also in absolute awe of the antisemitism scam, where a bunch of genocide cheerleaders for a foreign government have somehow managed to play themselves by sheer indefatigable bullying and whinging into the victims. They are the victims, apparently, not the people getting burnt alive in Gaza. We even saw them get their own envoy for hurty feelings appointed, Gillian Siegel. They inveigled tens of millions of dollars in grants out of the government. They complained so hard they forced the universities into attacking their own students for peaceful freedom of speech and assembly. Fundamental principles of democracy chucked out the window because some people were whining. They bullied the media into ignoring the story of the 21st century, media's kaput, and actually made anti-Semitism worse. Well done, fellas. But no further ado, our bronze medal for Scam of the Year 2024 goes to the NAC, the precious NAC, the much-feted, much-awaited NAC, National Anti-Corruption Commission. It had its first full year in operation, and loath to crow, but we did say, I told you so. That line from the start. Exceptional circumstances. That little clause, exceptional circumstances, only under exceptional circumstances will proceedings be made public. That came at the 11th hour after Peter Dutton got together with Mark Dreyfus and Albo and said, chaps, this could be bad for both of us. It could spell disaster. Having political corruption exposed. I mean, what's the point of having a secret NAC? There is no point. There was no point. And so we have a pointless National Anti-Corruption Commission. It was born. It managed to embroil itself in its own scandal of conflicts over the coalition's robo-debt scam, where people actually died. The lies have all come to light. No investigation. The guy running the NAC, Paul Brereton, was the perfect political appointee. The quintessential political appointee from central casting, because he had already got the job done on the Afghan war crimes inquiry, where none of the Army High Command have been prosecuted, none have been made to take responsibility in the chain of command, while the whistleblower, David McBride, languishes in a jail cell. So robo-debt and any significant scam of the coalition epoch, from sports rorts to car park rorts to innumerable rorts, every single scam was not investigated. Job done, Paul. Job done, NAC. Now, we've agonised over this, over the AUKUS scam or the nuclear scam. It really is a toss-up. But the silver medal 2024 goes to Peter Dutton's nuclear. He got pipped at the post by AUKUS because the ramifications for the future of this country are not as great. It's just a scam. It's a breathtaking scam, however, and we must give it credit. We must commend Peter for this scintillating act of scammery, because while this policy, if we can call it that, is universally lambasted as utterly ridiculous and scoffed at by any expert who knows what they're talking about on both costs and time frame, with the help of Rupert Murdoch's media, Peter's approval as preferred Prime Minister in the polls has actually gone up. Well played. See, the point of this scam is that it doesn't matter whether people believe that the coalition will get into a majority government, get control of the Senate, change the laws, talk the states into buying this scam, set up a nuclear industry in the appropriate regulatory settings, find the water, find the reactor sites, win the community approval at each of those 7 sites, find the technology, probably from China, and build reactors in 20 years by the time it's too late, and all financed by us, the beleaguered taxpayer, while private investors are piling into renewable energy as we speak. The fact is, this scam makes Peter Dutton look bold and decisive. It's not about the detail. It is Trumpian in its insouciance to that old-fashioned notion of truth. And it brings those donations in from the fossil fuel sector. They must be overjoyed in coal and gas lobby land. That fossil fuels will burn for longer than they need to burn for. The National Senator, Matt Canavan, actually let the cat out of the bag a few days ago when he said it was not fair dinkum. They weren't fair dinkum about nuclear. Quite a brilliant scam from the backroom boys of the coalition. Dutton's up in the approval ratings, despite nobody taking this seriously, not even the coalition. Yet there is no surpassing our gold medalists, AUKUS. The Great AUKUS Alliance, a scam perpetrated by Washington and Westminster in cahoots with our very own self-appointed Minister for Everything, ScoMo, who secretly did the deal with no consensus, who gave Albo and company the ultimatum back in the day, a couple of years ago. You have 24 hours to back this deal or look like chicken hawks on national security. And so it was that they backed it. So it was that the government has changed the course of history, sold our sovereignty to the US, which is building bases here for a war with our biggest export customer, China. The deal is so magnificent for the Americans and the Poms that we're not even guaranteed to actually get a nuclear submarine, but we've agreed to pay $368 billion, and we've agreed to bury their nuclear waste on top, on these shores, to give them $368 billion, kowtow to our purported global rules-based order of genocide in Gaza, and put young Australians in the firing line for a war with China. What a deal. What a scam. So come on down, AUKUS, come on down, the Uni Party, and Happy New Year to all. We'll continue to deliver in 2025 what you will not hear in the other media. We'll continue to serve the public interest in the year ahead, and you can support us if you've got some spare change on the link provided in the description. Meanwhile, very best to all of you, and may 2025 bring peace.